Laughter. That's what Marcus Jennings heard. Through the VIP terminal's tinted glass, executives in $5,000 suits were mocking the sight. Marcus, a 38-year-old black mechanic, his hands scarred from years of work, unloading a battered toolbox from an ancient pickup truck onto the private runway. This was the expert called to fix the billionaire's $65 million Gulfstream G650. "I thought we asked for the best technician," sneered Richard Hastings, the director of operations, making sure Marcus could hear the disdain. Marcus, however, kept his eyes on the prize. They saw a mechanic. They didn't see the man whose hands had saved more luxury aircraft than all their certified teams combined. They didn't see the 15 years of technical excellence awards hidden behind a face that challenged their prejudice. The supervisor's warning was cold. 2 hours. Fix it, or we call the Atlanta team. Then, the silence broke. "Let him work," a female voice commanded. Alexandra Evans, 43, CEO of Evans Aerospace, and owner of the jet. She walked across the tarmac, a navy suit contrasting with her perfect composure, ignoring her own staff. She didn't look down at Marcus. She looked at him. "How much time?" she asked, her eyes demanding an honest answer. "You have 1 hour," she declared, glancing at a watch worth more than his annual salary. "Impress me." As the white-collar crew retreated to the air conditioning, Marcus opened the jet's main access panel. He didn't find a simple electrical glitch. He found a catastrophic failure in the pressurization system. If the jet took off, everyone on board would die at 45,000 feet. His hands, the ones they had laughed at, moved with the surgical precision of a master engineer. He wasn't just fixing a jet. He was saving a dozen lives. And out of the corner of his eye, he noticed Alexandra still watching, not with contempt, but with an unsettling mix of observation and recognition. 30 minutes. That's all it took. Marcus closed the panel and began gathering his tools. No thanks necessary, just doing the job. But Alexandra emerged again, alone. "How long would they have taken?" she asked, her voice low. "They would never have found it," Marcus replied, blunt and unflinching. "The jet would have crashed." The air turned heavy. "Come with me," she ordered, surprising everyone, especially Hastings, whose face was a mask of growing worry. In her private office, Marcus stood while she typed on her tablet. Her eyes widened. "Marcus Jennings. MJ," she murmured, the initials engraved on the original designs for our G7 pressurization system. She listed his credentials: 3 patents, 4 awards, a master's in aerospace engineering. "Yet you repair jets like a common mechanic." "Because no one hires a black engineer from the suburbs to lead development," he said, simply, "and mechanics have bills to pay." She slid a corporate folder across the desk. Inside, documents detailing the G7 system, the system that made her company $428 million all, signed by Richard Hastings. Hastings, who received $2.5 million and 3 promotions. The door burst open. Richard Hastings. Fake concern mixed with raw panic. What is he still doing here? "The service is complete." "Actually, we're discussing intellectual property," Alexandra replied, unnervingly. "Calm. The G7 system. Specifically, the initials MJ Hastings paled. He was just an assistant technician. The system was developed entirely by my team." Just then, Dr. Sophia Chun, the chief legal officer, walked in. Her gaze on Hastings was icy. "I've double-checked the records. Richard, the digital signature on the original files matches Mr. Jennings. Not you." Alexandra opened another file. "I also have your emails, Richard, recommending Mr. Jennings' dismissal for technical incompetence. Exactly 3 days after he submitted the complete G7 project." Marcus watched, calm. 5 years ago, he was escorted out like a criminal. Now, justice was a cold, precise corporate weapon. "Richard, you are temporarily relieved of your duties," Alexandra stated. Hand your badge to security. Now, the next 2 hours changed everything. Alexandra wasn't just fixing one wrong. She was dismantling a system. She revealed a 2-year investigation into systematic discrimination and idea theft. Marcus wasn't the first victim, just the one with the most undeniable evidence. "I need your help, Marcus," she said. "Hastings controls half the board. I need irrefutable proof to bring him down." "And what's in it for me?" Marcus asked. "Recognition, royalties," she paused, "and the position of Director of Innovation that should have been yours 5 years ago." Marcus had kept a prototype of the G7 and, better yet, secret recordings of Hastings planning the theft. His 5 years as a mechanic had been his perfect camouflage to collect the fuel needed to burn down the entire corrupt structure. 6 months later, the executive floor was unrecognizable. Marcus Jennings, the formerly scorned mechanic, was the Director of Technological Innovation, the devastating recording of Hastings' voice echoing. Who would believe that a black man from the suburbs created something so sophisticated, became corporate history? But the final shock came 1 year later. Alexandra didn't offer a marriage proposal, as the media speculated, but a business merger had offered to Marcus. 30% ownership of Evans Aerospace. The scornful executives were gone or silent. The greatest victory wasn't his job or his fortune, but the establishment of a community center in his old neighborhood, funded by Evans Aerospace, to train the next generation of engineers who would have to climb the walls of prejudice. The greatest act of dignity isn't just succeeding, but tearing down the walls so no one else has to.